And hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jovan, and I'm back with episode 4 of my Let's Talk About NXT Black and Gold series. Yes, it's a bit of a mouthful. Working on the name. I'm working on it. But yes, obviously we're back with talking about NXT Takeover, our evolution. Obviously, if when we talked about NXT Takeover Fatal 4-Way, that is now up literally today. So that'll be a link somewhere. I don't know where they're pointing, but it'll be somewhere. It will pop up. It'll just pop up anywhere. But as you can obviously see, I'm not alone yet again. So obviously back from the last episode, we got Angel Pena, and yes, I got the name right this time. And
love it.
Yeah, been working for last time we did it. I've been working on that every day to try and get that right.
I appreciate it, amigo, and I'm so happy to be back. Had such a fun time doing it last time. Now I feel like we have an even better show to sink our teeth into here. It's very exciting. Yeah, there's a lot to take away. I feel like this show set up maybe the entire next year of NXT. This particular show, so there was a lot riding on it.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, just the people that are involved when you look at it, just like the people example, maybe not NXT like for that year of NXT, but just the idea, look at names that are starting here that are like big players in WWE now. Mm-hmm. Like the idea, Kevin Owens, you've got what's it, SAMI ZAYN, you've got if you want to say Finn Bálor, if you want to put that in there, like these kind of like Charlotte, you've got Sasha, well obviously not at the moment, but Sasha Banks. All that kind of stuff, like these names that are going to be like the cornerstone of WWE for so long. And you could sit there and say that one thing I found about this pay-per-view, they kind of tried the comedy stuff and tried the stuff in the last one and thought, yeah, that didn't work. So we're just going to stick to the kind of
exactly
like the proper, because the pacing of this show, I was watching it back. I was surprised how like the first 4 matches they flew by.
Yeah, listen, they went for no lulls. They were like, we're not going to have any lull moments leading into our big matches, which I think we could say they were probably looking at this as the last 3 matches were going to be big matches. And they definitely kind of bulldozed their way through this, and I think that was a bit refreshing. Personally, my own taste, anytime you tell me there's less Enzo Amore on the show, I'll go, yes, please. So wonderful with that.
Yeah, I mean, he was on the show right at the end, but just...
That's fine, at the end. all the way at the end. That's okay. That's okay. I'm good with that.
But not in a wrestling match, then you're okay. You're okay.
Oh, but don't hand him a mic. We're good.
But that's his best quality.
No, his best quality is selling for like when a guy like Brock Lesnar knocks him into next week. to me, his best quality is him getting wrecked by others.
Fair enough. I mean, you got to be honest, he's not the most popular guy these days anyway, so, but he wasn't on this show, so we won't talk more about him. So, But yes, I guess what was it, again, I'll have to ask this question. Was it similar to last time where it's like you kind of watched it a year later, or was it like, did you remember watching this live?
This one I remembered watching entirely because I remember having a lot of buddies, guys who are contributors on the Pro Wrestling Melee game show at the time. They were like, hey, Steen is going to be on this. This is going to be his first takeover. And I'm like, okay. And they were very adamant, like, you got to tune in. And I'm like, well, I don't have the network yet. And then I got invited over to somebody's house. And then that became a whole thing. But it was great. It was great to watch it with a group of other wrestling fans. This is that kind of show where it's only enhanced by that experience. And let's just get into it. First match up, you get the takeover debut, right? I think that's fair to say, the takeover debut of one Kevin Owens. And it's great to me that the crowd first really didn't know his music, so you hear it kick in and everybody's like just so polite, like, okay. And then they throw up his graphics and everybody's like, oh shit, yeah.
Which, to be fair, that became a thing though, didn't it? How many times did they do a thing where it's just like they've like new music, you're like, who's this? And then the name graphic came up. You're like, oh, like.
Well, they did that to Finn Balor this past Royal Rumble. Like, let's give Finn his new music. Everybody's like, what? Who? Okay.
I mean, obviously one thing I thought, I mean, just briefly, one thing I remember was it watching this is, my God, I miss CFO's music. I miss it so much.
Compared to what we have now, yes. Yes, very much so.
I just, because obviously think about it, Kevin Owens had this theme from the beginning and it hasn't changed at all. Like no remasters, no change it because of a character. It's just the same old one.
It's perfect for him. It's
great.
Absolutely perfect for him. So, you know, and by the way, it's funny to see the Kevin Owens we have now in 2025 and the Kevin Owens we had back then, because I'm actually going to praise Kevin Owens of a decade ago. He comes out, it's all game face. And you know what? Maybe for me, you know, explosive KO, like, oh, everything's going to upset me, blah, blah, blah. Maybe that ruined him for me a little bit. But this Kevin Owens, you don't know what he's thinking. He comes to the ring. Even when CJ Parker makes his way into the ring and is doing everything he's doing, you can't get a read on Kevin Owens' eyes. Like, you're just like, this guy is cooking up an ass whooping for CJ Parker. You just see it. He's formulating the plan. And then he does exactly what I love. Boom. The minute CJ Parker gets into the corner and turns around, clothesline. Just clothesline. Yes.
Was it hit everything? Was it the cannonball in the corner, the dive out to the outside, basically, I thought what's the view? It's like basically it's a match that showed his agility, his power, and his charisma, all in one match. Like you could sit there, it's the perfect debut. It basically showed everything what the guy's about.
Because I love you so much, Stu, I will agree with you in part. But my thing is, now having seen Kevin's track record, my biggest problem with him is he's maybe sometimes too giving to people who are not or should not be viewed on his level. Because I'm okay. This match went just over 3 minutes, right? And I get it. They didn't want CJ Parker to lose another match under 30 seconds like he did last time. I get all that. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
My thing is, I would have been fine with a 3-minute ass whooping of CJ Parker. Sure, he's going to try to get some offense, and then Kevin just shuts it down. Because for me, the way this night ends, it would be 100% absolute perfection to me if he didn't have a minute where he was vulnerable to a guy like CJ Parker. You know what I mean? It's like, like, I don't know if you've ever, most people have, but I'm not judging if you haven't. In Iron Man 2, which was not a great movie at all, but a great line gets delivered by the movie villain Whiplash, where he tells Iron Man, Tony Stark, if you make God bleed, people will cease to believe in him. That's how I treat every wrestler that's being presented at me, like, from the beginning. I'm like, don't show me flaws just yet. You know, you're presenting Kevin Owens to me. I don't want to see flaws. Don't present me Braun Breaker and show me flaws. Just show me all their strengths all at once. Show me the flaws later with someone capable of pulling that out of them.
Possible. I see what you mean. I mean, on the flip side, if you want to put like the flip side on it, him bleeding, as we know, Owens fight, is the idea. Yes, maybe CJ Parker, he's kind of given him a bit of offense, but the idea that basically his first match, he's already showing blood, shows that this guy is basically like he's up for a fight. Like, and it kind of, so, and also it didn't stop bleeding, by the way, because obviously when we talk about the ending, it's like when he was like, was it hugging SAMI ZAYN? He was just like still like bleeding, because I guess in the medical team didn't do a very good job of that one.
Terrible stitch or butterfly job. As someone who has had to administer first aid myself, because, you know, I used to be a high school American football coach. I'll throw that out there for all of you who are friends of Stu's and lovers of Stu. Yes, I'm over here in the States, in the colony, if you will. Having had to administer, I would have done a better job of closing up that wound. All right?
Yeah.
My medic bag has everything I need I would have closed that thing up nicely. Whatever the hell they did to him, poor job.
I know. It's just the idea that was it. How long's the show? Like 2 hours, maybe a bit more, bit like 2.5. Like, come on, like you have the entire show to sort it. But in a way, it's kind of. I was thinking when I watched it again, I was thinking of the Becky Lynch stuff, where it's like but when she had that moment, and then obviously she busted her nose up, and then obviously she's bleeding. It made it more badass. So maybe
that was a chef's kiss moment.
But that's what I think. With this, for me, I was looking at it, yeah, especially the guy's like he's bleeding already, like, and he doesn't care. So like, it's
by the way, you brought it up. That's actually one of my favorite wrestling moments of like the last decade. I got to give Becky Lynch a lot of credit. Partially concussed, she doesn't know if her face is broken, but she has enough wherewithal to stand among the crowd and like posture and like bring it in like, yeah, that's what I'm about. And I'm just like, I will ride with you till the end of time. That's it right there. That's what I'm looking for.
And we did. Maybe the main event wasn't great, but anyway, we digress. But anyway, yeah. So Kevin Owens won, obviously by a move that I missed. I missed the days when the pop-up powerbomb was his actual finisher, because I do miss that kind of finish, because I like the stunner, but it was so devastating.
Well, he's attempted the pop-up powerbomb a lot more frequently lately. So I'm having this hope that maybe he'll bring it back. I know it's not always the easiest when you're working with certain heavyweights. Like, I'm not judging Randy Orton. I don't know if Randy Orton can elevate for KO the way KO would need someone to elevate for him. I will say, watching this match, anybody who goes back to watch it, there was a great moment where KO could have just ended the match when he got CJ up in the brainbuster position and then dropped him on his knee. Yeah. The crowd super reacted to that. Like, that could have been an easy finish if they wanted to go that route, but I get it. You also want to introduce the pop-up powerbomb, so I'm good with it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. To be fair, for this whole show, this crowd was like,
they were hot.
You wouldn't have thought that, was it, 200 people in there or something like that? I think it was in that whole set.
Felt a hell of a lot bigger.
Yeah, I just love the energy. I think it was just shows at the times, to be fair. But yeah, so we got the win, good debut, and obviously you could say, well, obviously we know what's going to happen at the end of the show. Kind of sets up it quite nicely. To be fair, it's very, one thing I'll point out is like, it's very rare that you start. I mean, obviously it's not unheard of, but you start the show as a face, sort of, and then.
I love that. Because that instantly tells the audience, you can't trust me ever. Don't trust me ever. I love that.
And to be fair, to this day, we still don't trust Kevin Owens. So it's kind of was, but yeah. So obviously let's still talk about next. Obviously another very short match. Obviously it's not. Obviously I know your love of tag team wrestling, and
yes.
So. Again, this is obviously because you not the love of the last time they met, the last match we had in Fatal 4-Way. But obviously, we're talking about the Lucha Dragons that won the tag team titles of Fatal 4-Way. Obviously, their first defense on pay-per-view at least, against the Vaudevillains. It's interesting. It's fascinating watching the Vaudevillains and the kind of how it's an interesting gimmick when you look back, because obviously I do remember people kind of liking this gimmick back then.
Oh, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And this is probably as like outlandish as my brain will allow me to love something in pro wrestling. But here's the thing. Both guys look like they could have wrestled in 1920s by their attire and the way they chose to present themselves facially, hair, beard, and all that. But more importantly, their moveset, their wrestling style matched their look. It worked, right? The Road Warriors worked. Why? Because they looked like two giant meatheads who could rip your neck out of your body and not break a sweat doing so. The Steiners worked because they had muscles in places no one else had muscles. And oh yeah, they could mat wrestle you, right? And I'm referencing too much older tag teams, because I could have talked about the Hart Foundation, or fast forward, the New Age Outlaws worked in the 90s because they looked like two guys who were assholes, but really talented assholes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Vaudevillains work for me. They work for me because they didn't do anything that you would look at men their sizes and go, there's no way he could have pulled that off. No. It's almost like they knew what their lane was, they stayed in it, and they thrived in it. And for me, they made this match watchable because I know what a Lucha Dragons match is. And I say that more on the negative of Sin Cara because Kalisto actually a really talented wrestler. I enjoyed Kalisto a lot as a luchador. Yeah. But you kind of got, look, this wasn't the original Sin Cara. This is Sin Cara 2.0. You don't know if he really wants to be in the mask. Sometimes it kind of felt like he just wasn't fully committed to what he was doing. And so that's why Lucha Dragons matches, those are a little difficult for me. But 3 out of the 4 pieces in this match worked for me. It was entertaining, and I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing I think I noticed. It's a similar kind of setup in the sense of the match, the Ascension one, where it's a team that does kind of like mat wrestling, ground and pound type stuff, or like mat wrestling type stuff versus a high flying team. And again, that's fine because obviously that means when you've got good trusting styles, it works because obviously it complemented each other quite well. But yeah, I mean, you wouldn't have thought again. This match, what I found strange, this was 6 minutes. This match was.
It suffers by the timing rules of old NXT takeovers, right? It's not like I feel like they didn't give Triple H a long enough runway to go. Take as long as you want. Let matches have time to breathe if it suits the booking in the future. They were like, you have 2 hours on the network. Then we're putting a WCW pay-per-view from 1998 right after, right? Like, they had time constraints. And so
I mean,
it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, but to be fair, they've done the time really well. I mean, I think one thing I realized, I think it was near the end, it's like the crowd really liked Simon Gotch. Like, I heard they were chanting for him during the show, and I was like, I didn't realize how old he was.
I don't know if you followed his career post WWE, like when he was working in Major League Wrestling.
Not after this, my knowledge is quite limited.
So to me, I got super into watching MLW because that's where I discovered MJF and Jacob Fatu, right? Okay. And Alexander Hammerstone, who's thriving in TNA right now. And for me, Simon Gotch will always get a lot of credit for me because when Jacob Fatu was really getting noticed, getting put in matches, it's because he was in a faction with Simon Gotch. And Simon Gotch gave him a certain polish because, of course, if you're a booker and you have Jacob Fatu, you're going to tell him, go be you, go be a beast, but maybe not polish him in terms of the mic work or maybe like his smoothness in the ring. And that's where Simon Gotch came in. So I have no surprises that the crowd instantly fell in love because to me, he is a much, much lesser version of what a Dolph Ziggler can do. And that's put the polish on everyone else. Simon Gotch can do that. Within his own sphere, he's a tremendous in-ring guy. And that's why I wasn't shocked by it. Let's face it, Aiden English. Nobody was watching the Vaudevillains to see what Aiden English was going to do. He was the voice guy. He was the vocal one. He was the one who could give you certain expressions and just be a heel off of how he moved his face. It was Simon Gotch, the wrestler, who made it all work. And by the way, Simon Gotch firing up, actually, of that era of NXT, one of the best like fire-ups of any wrestler on the brand.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because obviously, what was it? Vaudevillains doing NXT for a little while, and then obviously again, as we're going through this series, we're probably going to say a lot. They went up to the main roster, didn't do anything really with them. The only person that got mild success was obviously Adrian English with Rusev.
As we now have my tag team partner, my 2-year-old here. But it's okay. You're making your YouTube debut. All right.
But hi. But oh. but yeah, but yeah, it was a short match. It was done its job, I guess, and obviously, again, Lucha Dragons won with a basically kind of Callisto kind of hitting the Del Sol in an interesting, creative way.
Del Sol, that's right.
Hitting it in the most like it seems like when you watch those matches, it's basically like was it Sin Cara gets beaten down for most of the match, then Callisto gets the hot tag, and then all of a sudden he does the crazy stuff, and then all of a sudden it always ends with him hitting his finisher, and they get a win. It's pretty much what it was.
But that's fine to be formulaic, because let's face it, Hardy Boys, hey Matt, go wrestle most of this match, do the basic stuff, and then when we want to get the people excited, tag Jeff in. It'd be the same. It would be the same thing you and I. Angel, go get your ass whooped. You tag in Stu, and then the crowd's really gonna get. That's exactly what's happening.
What I love about that is the idea that basically you're saying is, like if we were a tag team, I'd be the popular one, and you'll be the one that just, like you get the beat down, and I just like everyone would want me in. Like wouldn't you think it'd be the other way around? Maybe.
No, not at all. Because when you've been as off-putting as I have been for as long as I have been, you realize people want to see. Look, I'm okay filling that Roddy Piper role of people want to show up to see me get my ass kicked. I'm okay with that because it still pays the bills.
Fair enough. I just had to put it out there because it's like I appreciate it, but it's just like, why is it you have to be the guy that gets beaten down?
People, for anyone who's wise to this, they also realize the ego on me. I just compared myself to Roddy Piper. Of course, they're going to want to see you go over. They're going to be like, look at this bald asshole thinking he could Roddy Piper himself. So, okay, there you go.
I always think to myself, if I was a tag team, it'd be a situation is, like, example, you'll be the one that talks, and I'll just be the one that does the confused facial expressions.
It would have, yeah, you would have to like react to the things I say because it would be outlandish. No, exactly. Everyone wants to see me get choked out. They want to see you break away from me and have a singles run. That's how it goes.
Or just I don't speak at all, and then when I do speak, it's like a huge.
Oh yeah, no. Let me tell you, that would get the crowd popping right there.
To be fair, what's even funnier is it's probably more true to real life because I don't say much, but when I do, I don't talk at all, and then also when I'm confident, then I talk. But there are times when you
got a real Batman vibe. I like it.
Just got to find my joke and I'll be fine.
I'm right here. What the? You said you need a talker. I'm literally right here. The first time Batman and Joker are teaming up.
Not even in the comic books that have happened.
I'm sorry. The comic book nerd in me was about to explode. I was like, it's happened, buddy. They didn't want it to happen, but it's happened.
Well, it shows that I need to brush up on my comic books. But anyway.
But I was about to say, no, not only that. You want to talk about something happening. I thought CJ Parker being a sacrificial lamb was bad enough. When you get a countdown about when your ass is about to get pinned during a match, as we're about to talk in match 3, I never felt worse for Ty Dillinger. And I'm just saying this. I know he's in NXT now under his chosen name, Sean Spears. I feel like he should make that match part of his origin story. I want him to go out there and cut a promo on Triple H. You're the asshole who fed me to Baron Corbin, who's not even here anymore. And these people counted me down until I got knocked the fuck out.
Was it countdown to my destruction? And to be fair, it was that. But I mean,
41 seconds, folks, for the ones with the timer. 41 seconds.
Well, so it wasn't 20 as they were trying to allude.
It wasn't 20.
But I think for me, what shot was the idea that basically the crowd were like 1, 2, like if you survive a minute, you're a very lucky man. But the idea that it's Ty Dillinger before 10. Before
it is like you know what? That's his villain story. He got so obsessed with numbers. He's like 10. 10. That's what happened.
It all started in this show because he saw people counting down. He thought, "Hey, I like that." And then now
I will say I have to give Baron Corbin some credit because you see he's noticeably confused by what's happening. He's like, are they cheering for me to finish him off quick? What is that? Like, he was super uncertain for a bit. And then he's like, I'm just going to go back to hitting this man. I loved it.
It wasn't like last time where it's just basically like one or two offense and then boom, end of days and win. But I mean, a little bit of offense, but yeah, it was as quick. Just basically, got him hit. I mean, he was more distracted by obviously the what was it, Bull Dempsey? Obviously, we talked about.
Which I groaned when I saw Dempsey in the crowd. I'm like, no, let's not do this. Move along. I know eventually we get there, but no, I wasn't having it.
I mean, wasn't technically this was like he had a lot of Scots matches at this point, and then this was supposed to be his first proper feud. But I mean, I don't know how to say if they were making it. I think it was some sort of review I watched that read it's like they made it sound like it was bigger than it actually turned out to be, and it was. It's like,
oh yeah, no, it went out with a whimper. What they ended up doing together, it's weird. If you're trying, for me, if I'm watching wrestling and they're trying to present someone to me as like, okay, this guy is a threat, he stomps people out. Don't give me someone who's obviously not on his level as his first major feud. I'd almost go like if we know Neville is on his way to the main roster, then maybe it should just be him beating up on Neville. And I don't mean destroying Neville, but physically imposing himself on Neville. I don't need him to beat Neville, but Baron Corbin getting to be in the presence of someone who I'm going to talk about this when we get to the main event. To me, Neville is the best pure athlete in NXT at this time. The fluidity of how he moves himself. There is no better athlete, in my opinion. Baron Corbin would have much, much more benefited from that interaction than a Bull Dempsey.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like, I guess when we do a lot of squash matches, you kind of have to at some point when you have a first feud, it's got to be something big to show that it's not just he could beat like people like that in squash matches, but you got to make the big, like, beat someone big before you go, oh, this guy's legit. Like, this guy's like, this means something. But they never really did that with him. Really in NXT, really. Like, I can't, obviously, if you can name a few, but I can't think of a feud they had that was like, because I think
not in NXT, and I think they really fumbled his debut on SmackDown when he first got there. He did get a chance to work with AJ for a while, but at that time, fans were like, no, we want AJ in the world title picture. No, don't send him over there. You put him back in the world title picture. That's where he belongs.
But yeah, I just don't think.
I will actually, sorry, because you're talking about feuds. I do remember my favorite Baron Corbin feud, and it was something where he showcased a portion of his personality where I instantly, like, that meme of Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at something I think it's from The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
It got me doing that. He was actually feuding, funny enough, with Kalisto over the United States Championship. And I don't think it was on a pay-per-view, but like, how they used to do the pre-show?
Yeah.
Like, it was the pre-show before the pay-per-view or after. And he gets on there, right? And he still not fully assured of himself on the mic. But as he's addressing Kalisto, he starts talking in Spanish. And he sends a very direct threat to him. He's like, I would have to look it up, and it would take me ages to try to find that clip. But he came off so menacing with how fluid he spoke Spanish. It was the kind of Spanish threat where, like, you would expect to see that in like a drug-dealing international gang movie. He was so on point and swarthy. I was like, oh my God, more of this. Have him terrorize all the luchadors. This. Because it was so intense. It was literally one of those things you're like, you could be that guy who beats people up at the bar, and it doesn't matter what language they speak, you'll still send that message. Oh, how I remember that. And it was during his feud with Kalisto. Now I have to do research to find this clip to send it to you, because I know I look crazy without actual evidence.
And the annoying thing is, if you still had the WWE Network when he had all the Raws and all the SmackDowns on, we could have just It took you
I know
a while.
it's a pre-show, so thankfully they still put the pre-shows on the network. I will find this. Till the day I die. I will find this.
I look forward to when you do find it. I look forward to finding this clip.
That was the best mic work he ever did.
It just proves the point that basically he just needs someone that gave him direction. I mean, I think I've said a Chris Van Vliet video with the interview with him, where it's like they said he was like the most safe to work with. I think I remember saying
that's a notch in his belt. I always love safe workers, so that's a huge notch in his cap to me. I respect the hell out of that.
But yeah, I mean, but for when we could go back to obviously this with this match, it was basically like they could have easily just done. He squashed him. He's like, another squash match, done it in like even the 22 seconds they were saying it was, but it was obviously 40. But and then just after the match, have the Bull Dempsey maybe come down the ramp and then started there. But it just felt, I don't know, it felt clunky the way the interaction was. I don't know why. It just didn't feel. They were trying to make it as this big, like, oh, it's his big first feud, but it didn't really feel that. So.
It didn't land.
But well, obviously after that we talk about something that did, that was big, and that was the in-ring debut of Finn Bálor, teaming up with Hideo Itami, going against the Ascension in, I think, the perfect way to debut someone without putting them in a kind of like singles match or kind of a squash is to put them in a tag team match. And obviously Finn Bálor, like, they really made, like, I forgot that when he debuted he was in the demon makeup.
I thought that was so jarring. I'm like, wait a minute, you're supposed to save this for people who matter. Why are we doing this?
I was just shocked. I was like, I thought he like debuted that when he went for the title. I thought he debuted his first match. I was like, oh.
But because of this, right? And it's the first time we get to see the demon entrance. Because of this, I am now going to give my best sell of the night award. It comes from Finn Balor's entrance. The best sell of the night. Look at Connor's face when he's looking at Finn get in the ring, and perplexed is not even the word. If I'm doing Connor's inner monologue of the Ascension, he's looking and he's thinking, what the fuck? But on loop. He can't escape those 3 words because he's looking at Finn and he's just, what am I looking at? He can't process it, and that was the best selling of the night. When I tell you, I felt what he felt in the moment. I didn't feel any of the bumps anyone took that night, except for Sammy at the end. But then again, I was already rooting for Steen, so I was like, you deserve that, Sammy. But Connor's confusion, that is my best sell of the night, right there on Finn's entrance. Also, that was a clunky Finn entrance. As far as Finn entrances go, I don't think Finn actually figured out how he's supposed to move his body just yet as the demon. He gets there eventually, but not that night.
Yeah, I have to admit, I think it was like near the edge when he was like getting to the bit when the build up to the big, like, main rift of his entrance. It felt like he was like, oh wait, I've got to set up here for the smoke thing. It's like, or like when he was calling down, it like, yeah, it did feel a bit off, but then I don't know how long that might have been the first time he's done it, because obviously he done it in obviously Prince Devitt, but
yeah. Look, we could do a whole podcast episode on the evolution of Finn Bálor Demon / Finn Bálor Club entrances, because this one's a bit clunky. He's developing it, but then when we get to like just the Bálor Club era, you'll notice there's a lot of like hip thrusting, and he's like really forcing his manhood into the camera. So I don't know. He has a really long-winded journey about how he moves his body. Because there are some times like he just hits the ropes in the Bálor Club era, and all of him is front and center right in that camera's face. And I'm like, Finn, what are we doing here? Is this Bálor Club for everyone and you're trying to send me a message, buddy? But yeah, no, I always love me some Demon Bálor. Till this day, him and William Regal are the two greatest, sweetest human beings I've ever met out of the wrestling world in person. So I got nothing but love for Finn. Nothing.
Yeah. And again here, it's like another example. We talking about music earlier. It was like, yeah, forgot how good that was. An awesome theme too.
That music hits hard, and I love it.
Yeah, especially when it's like the bit when the lights. I love that when the bit when it's like dark and then the lights. Oh, it's just I miss that. I just miss good theme music. You know.
It adds to the look. I've always been told music and food add to any experience. So in wrestling, it's definitely the music that's going to hit you. Look, that music hit. Connor selling for me right on the entrance. Like, what the hell am I looking at? That hit. And then the match starts, and I completely saw why the Ascension were chosen to put over Bálor and Itami. Look, say a lot of people will look at the Ascension and say they didn't pan out, they burnt out. Those guys can work. And we were just talking about safe workers. Those guys did what they needed to do. They were given a mission, polish these two up, and they did it. And I like it.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. I mean, what I liked about this match is the idea, obviously, Ket was it Itami or Kenta. As obviously he's already he got the brunt of most of the attack, from the Ascension. I kind of like the idea that basically like they really stretched out kind of when Finn Bálor got into the match, in a way. So when he did come in, it was like just like all the moves that we know now. He was just hitting it, and but yeah,
that's what I call good floor play, buddy. That is quality foreplay. Everyone wants Finn. Don't give him Finn yet. Let that anticipation rise. Okay, is Finn coming? No, build that anticipation. Then you give them Finn, and away we go.
Yeah, I mean, after a bit, they've done the thing that kind of like where it's like just when he thinks he's about to get the tag, and then drags him down.
See, that's what tag team wrestling can do. It can twist your emotions up in all different ways, and that's why I love it.
But yeah, I think I love the way that obviously the finish was obviously, but actually, I don't think they called it a coup de grace then, but just a double. Was it
the double stomp? Finn on one side, Hideo on the other. I do want to say I didn't necessarily love them rebranding Finn's Bloody Sunday into the 1916. It's Bloody Sunday just sounds so cool. It sounds so perfect. Why would you take that away from him? I love the move. His inverted, I don't know if they call it a DDT or a brain buster. Either way, great move. The visual of seeing Finn Bálor and Itami fly, that was like a really fun memory to have from this era of NXT, because sure, the Lucha Dragons could probably do it, but they're not as cool as Finn Bálor and Kenta, so it's even better to watch them do it.
It makes you think. I don't think how far Finn Bálor goes up the card quite quickly. It's like, and obviously we talked about in the previous episode about obviously was it Itami's kind of injury problems, but watching that match, like it would have been cool if they had a run as like a tag team, because obviously they got similar styles in a way, and it would have been kind of cool to see maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that, but at the same time, you talk about Finn Bálor's Ascension, and I just think of the Macho Man. The cream always rises to the top. So there was no way Finn was going to get held down in that situation.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, weird thing is, it's like the crowd obviously knew that was it Itami's like GTS, and we almost got it in this match. The sad reality is that we will never get that match between CM Punk and Kenta, both.
So I will say, the one thing I appreciate about the current era of WWE is we can't actually say never, because WWE has all these new name, image, and likeness deals, all these development deals with smaller promotions. If there's money to be had, money to be made, maybe on a tour over in Japan, and the participants are willing, hey, we can never. You know what? I would like them to build up to the tension of, oh, CM Punk and Kenta have to settle a score, only for them both to realize, fuck it, we're the two best people to ever use this move. Let's just wreck other people's faces. I think that would be a hell of a lot better. You know?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if they can make deals with TNA and the way they're doing it, they can probably at some. I think is he in New Japan still? He's doing that kind of.
I believe he's still working there right now. But again, like, this is what I love. Look, I know a lot of people that they hear like corporate stuff or whatever. For WWE is thriving from that. It's thriving from a more global business-minded approach. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, the idea that basically like we don't look at, they're not looking at wrestling companies as the except for AEW, of course, but like other like smaller-ish companies in the sense of how big WWE are as like the enemy, and but look at them as like an opportunity to create a healthy wrestling business. It's just really cool to see, because it's like, yeah, like example, like now because of the TNA stuff, you've got the Joe Henrys, the kind of the Hardys have found a way to come back because they're part of TNA. It's just like little things like that. It's like TNA get the rub, WWE get WWE audience get to see someone they normally wouldn't see. It works, and maybe in the future, maybe if New Japan might want to. I mean, if that ever happened, that'd be insane. But
give the crowd one show, one major crossover event. Never let it happen again. But at least people will always have that memory.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just
okay. Listen, we're talking about Finn Balor and Hideo Itami right now. Kenta, Finn Balor, the Prince's return to Japan, and you bring Finn Balor celebrating right now a decade in WWE, and somewhere down the line, the Prince returns and somehow has to confront whatever this bastardized version of Bullet Club that exists. Sometimes you can't outrun your past. Look, man, I'm throwing this. Let's go.
I think it just proves that basically, like, someone hire us. I think we need someone needs to hire us as a booking team.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, for God's not like a cheap plug at my kind of Total Extreme Wrestling kind of podcast. Was it videos I done on this channel? You know, wink, wink. Yes, I'll probably put a link there now. Now I've said it. But I mean, I done a whole series when I done fantasy booking. I absolutely adore doing booking of wrestling shows. So if anyone watches this from a wrestling promotion, you know, there's something here.
Listen, Stu, I know for a fact, I know this because certain calls from certain HR departments have come my way over the years, that certain things that have been said on our Pro Wrestling Melee game show have found their way into booking. And the most recent example was of that era where Bray Wyatt as the Fiend was terrorizing The Miz and his family. Anyone want to sync up our episodes to that timeline? You'll see right there something I said, and things you have said have actually popped up. And whatever. Just pay us, people. Not you, the viewer. You, the viewer, we love. We do this for you for free. People with wrestling companies, pay us. Let's go.
The idea of that like ever happening would be, I think, would be a great. Not to over exaggerate, but it would be one of the greatest days of my life. If it's like,
listen,
it'd be great.
You're a creative person, and I know for a fact nothing is more self-gratifying than having people acknowledge your creative ideas as being excellent and good and worthy. So we'll get there.
But in the future, maybe. But so at the moment, we're just going to talk about NXT, and at the moment, that's good enough for us. So,
amen to that. Yes, I agree.
But yes, obviously, before we get to the Charlotte Sasha Banks match, there was a little backstage thing we could kind of mention, where kind of Roman Reigns was there, you know, watching the show after he was for some silly reason I was watching it going, wait a minute, I'm sure like it just can't be that early in NXT when he's used to be there. I was like, oh wait, it's 2014, isn't it? Yes, he's this is when they were really trying to book him, put it down our throats, and it wasn't working. But yeah, I mean, it was just kind of cool. It's an interesting fact. It's like, was he the first proper person from NXT to kind of win the world title, like from this version of NXT? Because
wait, was Roman the first proper person from NXT to win the WWE Championship?
yeah, because obviously, again, we don't count that really awful game show thing.
Well, yeah. Well, technically, Seth won the world title before Roman ever did, and Seth is a former NXT champion. If I'm not mistaken, Seth is the first ever NXT champion to win the WWE title. Remember, Seth wins it at WrestleMania 31. Up to that point, Roman had never touched the world title before. He had just won the Rumble. Roman doesn't win his first world title until Survivor Series after WrestleMania 31, where he wins it in the tournament, and then Sheamus cashes in on him.
Oh, okay, I don't know.
For anyone, I have a very strong command of the WWE Championship lineage.
Hey,
it comes with the territory of running a game show.
Hey, it's fine. I'm sure that's what they were kind of implying, weren't they? Like in kind of when he was going backstage, that he was like. So like that's why I was thinking, oh, is that actually what happened? But then now I think, no, it was. But I guess when don't let facts get away with a good story, eh? It's just like, yes, it was Seth, but
listen, you want to talk about them paying us for creative? They should pay us also to fact check them. They should be paying us for that too.
Yeah, like was it who was it? I can't remember. Someone like that sits there and goes like looks, but like they like someone actually like good at continuity. That's like someone that just knows like 7 or 8 years back and like the stuff like. We would be quite good at that because obviously I can remember stuff that like some people. How do you remember that? It's like I've watched it a long time. I've watched it. Like,
it becomes ingrained in you.
Yeah, but yeah. So I just thought I'd bring it up because I thought it was a bit strange because I thought like I'm sure it wasn't, but yes, obviously after that we get to the NXT Women's Title match between obviously champion Charlotte and Sasha Banks. In what I liked about this match is the idea that basically a lot of people. This was kind of like we had the match with Bayley that was kind of really short, that was good, but I think this was the first match you watched like. Because obviously we all forget that this is 2014. Like women weren't doing that in WWE at this time. Like they weren't doing really good wrestling matches. Like they were doing like 3 or 4 minute like kind of small matches that just nothing was really going on. But yeah, they gave surprised how short this match was only again similar to match, 12 minutes. But yeah, I mean I forgot like they definitely used that time very well. But yeah, I think that's what people forget. It's like, yeah, this was like the reason everyone looks at the 4 Horsewomen as like the pinnacle of like the evolution is because of matches like this. Because it's like, oh, they're actually trying to tell stories with the women and with good wrestling matches. And it's like, yeah, but that's what I was thinking with this match. It's like, yeah, this is really bloody good. It's a really good match.
Yeah, no, it was an excellent match. I always before we started recording, you and I we were talking about our love for title belts, and I always have a chuckle looking at this Brad Maddox shined NXT champion. I told you I was gonna have a little joke in there. That's for our boy Lewis. Yeah, it's hard to look at that belt and not see it as anything other than something was defiled, and Charlotte's there not knowing that it was defiled. Like, all right.
Oh, they changed. When they found that tape, they changed that belt.
Listen, they have warehouses of all the props they've ever used. That belt, I guarantee you, does not exist. It's not there. It's not there.
It has mysteriously disappeared into another dimension because no.
But I will say, I love me an athletic wrestler. That's exactly who Charlotte Flair is. Then you add in all the different things that make the presentation of Charlotte great. Her lineage, her father, the willingness that an entire company is going to put forth to put great people around her to let Charlotte become the Charlotte that we see today. Not everyone gets that. Sasha Banks, on the other hand, her frame doesn't really work for me, but she can talk people into the building. She got an entire era of fans to buy into, this boss persona that she believed, yes, I'm dynamic and I will overcome at certain points. And then when I'm asked to be a total a-hole, I can do that too, and people will believe in me. These two have really great NXT chemistry. We didn't necessarily see that translate on the main roster. For whatever reason, the booking was not very gentle towards Sasha. Hey, I beat Charlotte. You're losing it next week on Raw. Ah, shit. It's like they never really wanted to present Sasha as Charlotte's equal, and that's fine. That's fine. It's a little weird that you're doing it to your lead babyface at the time, but that's fine. This match, to me, might be my favorite Charlotte NXT match. I can't say it's my favorite Sasha one because Sasha has even better chemistry with Bayley. That worked so much better and on such a higher level. But for what this was, it was perfect. Both of them shined in different ways. As you said, the women were not getting this type of opportunities in WWE unless it was here in NXT. And they got the opportunity. And they showed up. The match flow was good for me. And it was a really stellar finish. And I know I'm skipping ahead of the finish, but I'll stop with this. For me, that finish told me Triple H viewed Sasha in a certain light. You're not just going to lose to any old natural selection. Charlotte's going to have to do something from the top rope just to beat you. And I like that. That's how I processed it, and I was good.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bit, yes, you're right. That finish was like, yeah, it's the idea you could have, I mean, to be fair, last, like, obviously with the Fatal 4-Way pay-per-view we watched, was it we talked about last episode, but like, that was the idea, basically, like, she didn't mess around. With that match, it was more hit it. Was it she missed it and then hit it out of nowhere, or like kind of I'm not messing around. This one, it was more like, oh, okay, I see. Like, this is going to be one of those matches, so I have to go and hit something of top draw to kind of win. And but yeah, that national selection for the top was pretty awesome. So, and but yeah, obviously we know where this is going to set up because we're all talking about Fatal 4-Ways in the last video we talked about. At some point, that's going to set up a Fatal 4-Way. Obviously, didn't realize it was it. I forgot that Becky Lynch was aligned with Sasha Banks at the time. But
yeah, that's one of those weird historical things that should show up on a quiz show episode. No one saw that coming.
I know. I mean, pure coincidence that you have a game show, so maybe Oh, you never know. Like, might come up in a question.
Gonna be mad when they get that question.
But I have to admit, it just looks weird. Like, have you noticed? Like, I can't remember what the storyline, why they're like aligning together. I can't remember. But like, it's just feels strange.
I mean, the funny thing is, nowadays it'd be the easiest thing to. Everyone hates Charlotte. Why are these people who wouldn't normally get along? Because Charlotte's back. That's why.
Join force to go against Charlotte. Yeah, but yeah, both look great. Awesome finish. Obviously, they do get more time. Like, you can sit there and say, well, they get more time, but we all know they will. They will. The more takeovers we look, they get more and more time and more chances to shine. But yeah, really good match, and that's was it 2 win matches. We've watched. Obviously, the last one they've been really good. So but yeah, and also one thing to point out, Charlotte, what was she, like 22 at this point? Or like she was quite young.
I think so.
The idea that she was that good at 22 is just insane.
But again, you have to believe some of it is, again, her athleticism. Some of it is, they were throwing every great teacher at her. Every great trainer they could provide, like, we need you to be great. We cannot fail with you. So,
I mean, there's that too, but it's too freaking awesome now. It's like,
oh yeah, 100%.
But yeah, so Can't wait. Well, we've got there. We've got to the main event.
By the way, just real quick, she's actually 28 at the time.
28.
Yeah, because she is born the same year as I. So she, in a couple of weeks, will be celebrating her 39th birthday.
Damn it. Got that one wrong. But either way, it's still impressive. She's still
it's fine. You said 22, and I'm like, wait, I'm pretty sure she's my age. I had to.
Yeah, well, still pretty good for that age, though, to be fair. But yeah, that's not. Obviously, now let's talk about the match they put the most time, the one they've put up the most, and the match that we'll kind of remember. Well, except for the ending, what people kind of I remember from this pay-per-view, and that is the NXT Championship match. Adrian Neville, the champion, Sami Zayn, the challenger, with the stipulation that if Sami Zayn can't win this, he has to leave NXT. And oh my words, this match was incredible. And the crowd, like, we're talking about how like up for the match, the cold crowd for the entire show, but my God, they made this match. You wouldn't have thought that's 200 people in there. They made it feel like it was like a 100 felt like so. I loved that. They were so invested. They wanted so bad for Sami Zayn to finally, as he said, win the big one and become NXT champion. But yeah, I think I remember this match. It's just I think I love the pacing of it. I love the kind of near falls. I love the kind of situation that kind of Neville all the time was trying to kept stopping the momentum of Sami Zayn. Just when he was packed to get going, he put him down. I like the idea that he couldn't put Sami away, and eventually he got more and more frustrated when the match went on, and obviously resorted to even cheating tactics near the end. Obviously with not one, was it technically 2 ref bumps? Technically,
I would say technically 2, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this had everything. You had like, great pace, great moves.
For me, I would say this match would easily be considered one of the greatest main events NXT ever put together if it wasn't overshadowed by what happens at the end. But as a worked match, it starts off, and WWE does this so well, they give you the history. And man, a pro wrestling match is so much better when there's history there. And they gave it to us. So we get the history. The match starts, and you hit the nail on the head. Pacing. They start off slow, and they let the aggression build. And while they do this, they are consistently telling the good guy story of Sami Zayn. Is he getting in his own way by helping the ref up? Is he not keeping his eye on the ball? Why did he get rid of the belt? Neville just rolled him up. They built that to an eventual crescendo. And what I'm going to praise Neville about in this match is, from when I first saw this match to rewatching this match, when you see his athleticism, I don't want it to be ignored that when he gets slammed by Sami Zayn at any point, he is making life so much easier for Sami in how he rotates his own body mid-air. This is a huge praise I could give Neville right now. That version of Neville could make me look like today's Braun Breaker in the ring. Just how he sets anyone up. His rotations from his flips, he made Sami look like a much bigger badass than Sami actually is, because that's not a term used for Sami Zayn. But Sami hitting a tilt-a-whirl power slam because Neville willed his body to make it so. Come on. That match, chef's kiss. I love that match. One of my favorite NXT main events of all time.
It's just, I think we talked about it think last episode with the idea of like if you were going to show someone like a match and said this is why pro wrestling is so amazing. This would be one of those matches as well. Like this, like it's just the emotion, the kind of like how invested the crowd was involved in it. That bit when near the end when he was holding that towel and the crowd were just like, "No, Sammy, don't give in, don't do it," and the way he was just like so tempted, and it's just I don't know if he didn't, and obviously the idea that yes, his compassion almost got in the way, but in the end he wanted it more, and he hit the Uber kick. He got the win, and the crowd when he hit, the crowd went nuts, and it was just. This is what happened. Like the idea that it's a perfect example of how you book someone when you want to be that you can book them for keep losing, but you can keep doing that if you like have moments like this where you know he's going to eventually win it, because obviously that build up, the way they built that up is the idea is like, if I remember correctly, it's like he kept losing to people, then obviously he built up to this match. He started to beating the people he was losing to. So then it's like the momentum's there, but I mean, right at the end, they done the whole everyone comes out. I mean, we talked about Enzo, he was there, but obviously only briefly. So,
yeah.
But everyone was there, done the whole lift up on the shoulders, done it once, not twice. It's kind of. It's interesting when obviously we know what's going to happen is that the first person to hug him was Kevin Owens.
Is the most loving best friend anyone could ever have.
Loving best friend.
Oh my god. Oh.
They played us like a fiddle, and I mean, obviously, if you did know nothing about the history, obviously we all do now. If you knew nothing about the history of them in obviously Ring of Honor and all that, and all the history with that. The idea that basically like it's just going to end with Sammy doing the big, let's be fair, let's just dive into what this pay-per-view is remembered for.
So I actually ruined this ending. I remember I said I'd watch this with some buddies. I ruined this ending, and that once I realized they let this celebration go on a little too long, I'm like, I had that moment. I said it out loud. I should have kept it to myself. I was like, "Oh, they're stalling. He's gonna get his ass whooped." And my friends look over at me like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, they're just stalling." Like there's a moment you see Sami Zayn like sort of doing a shimmy to his own music. I'm like, "No, that doesn't seem right. Someone's gonna." And I was throwing out names. I was like, "Well, it could be Steen. It could be Baron Corbin." Like, because those were the only two names of two people who whipped someone's ass on this card. I'm like, it's one of them. And then, obviously Corbin's not out there, so look, I ruined that evening. I ruined the surprise for them. So I got to take that one.
Your inner booker couldn't keep it.
When you know the product so well, you know what's coming next. I'm sorry, but
it's basically like now when we watch any turn or anything's like I know where this finish is going, or like I just know, and if you can't help it. It just you've watched it so much with a what's the something
from the minute John Cena hugged Cody, I knew where that camera was panning. I knew where it was going.
Oh god! But obviously we'll see if everyone's thinking, what the hell are you talking about? We're talking about Kevin Owens turning on his best friend Sami Zayn.
Yep.
The way they did it is just like they done the thing that they always do, where they put like the ending kind of like copyright thing at the bottom, like, oh, this is the end, and then he pushed him on the floor. Everyone was like, what? And then he put up for a powerbomb onto that apron, the most hardest part of the ring, as everyone knows. And what I think made it even better was, as I think for me anyway, when William Regal came out, William Regal was furious, and when he's good at playing the GM of being a person, like he can be funny, he can be nice, but just don't piss him off.
Let me give you a little anecdote. When I met William Regal, it was before there was a local promotion, Evolve Wrestling, and at the time they were working with WWE, and now WWE has a WWE Evolve show available on certain streaming services for their up-and-coming talent. It's weird. They have an up-and-coming show, but then NXT is their up-and-coming show for their main roster. Neither here nor there. So William Regal, the most gracious guy, he was giving people 15 minutes for these meet and greets before the actual wrestling show. And everyone in attendance paid to see William Regal. And I'm there chatting with him. And again, him, Finn Balor, the two. Let me throw Cody Rhodes in there. I've never met three greater men in professional wrestling than those three. The biggest sweethearts on the planet. And another tidbit, William Regal's actually when you get up close, one of the most beautiful men you'll ever see. His eyes are very striking. Either way, William Regal's understanding of wrestling psychology is so brilliant. I asked him once, have you ever really been challenged by a fan who was surprised that you're actually as tall as you are? And he says, I get that. He told me, and I'll never forget this. He says, I get that all the time because my role as a heel was always to be hunched over. I wanted to look like this mongrel hunched over fella, who looked very unappealing. But the minute I wanted to fire up on somebody, I rise up like a bloody dragon. And obviously, I don't do his accent well. But when he brought the whole psychology of, I want my body posture to be that of a dragon that's, fully stretching its wings, I was like, God damn, you're smart. And so from that moment on, and that happened before this event, every time I saw William Regal do something psychologically perfect in the moment, I'm like, this guy's a genius. The rage he conveys, the pure rage. I'm like, this man is a pure wrestling genius. He's a genius.
It's just he made that moment so much more because obviously it's a shocking moment, but the idea that he's literally shouting for the doctors where they're and how furious he was at Kevin Owens, how dare you ruin this moment? How dare you do this? And it's just the idea that Kevin Owens yeah, okay. And he's walked off, didn't say anything, did nothing, and went off yeah, I just turned to my best friend. Okay.
But see, that's such a perfect moment because in how Kevin's responding, that gives you the feeling this is not a man who designates best friends in his life. This is a man who looks at opportunities. But not opportunities in the way a decent human being would go, I graduated from university and now there's job opportunities out there for me. Although we know in the world's current landscape, that doesn't exist. But Kevin Owens is the type of guy who looks at people and goes, if you give me an opening, I will send you to the emergency room. And that is Kevin Owens. And that is who he revealed himself to be.
And has he really changed? The answer to that question is
no,
he's not. As Sami Zayn can contest, as Chris Jericho can contest, and Randy Orton can contest, don't be my friend because eventually I'll return on you.
Well, and Cody, although he would say that Cody turned on him first.
Oh yeah, forgot about that. Yeah, that thing. Yeah, but yes, don't be his best friend. He just be waiting for the.
Don't be his friend. Just don't. Treat him at best as someone who is a threat. Don't let him near your family. Don't invite him over for holiday. Keep him at arm's length and then maybe some more.
Pretty much. But yeah, I mean, some people, I feel also some said, could you sit there and say this is probably the greatest, because there was a lot of heel turns during the NXT era. Could it be the most memorable one?
Ooh, good question. Most memorable heel turn of NXT. I would think you'd have to say so. I would think you'd absolutely have to say so. I mean, the only other one in recent memory that comes up, and I wouldn't say it's a defining heel turn, but it was somewhat of a oh shit heel turn, was Roderick Strong joining Undisputed Era.
That is literally one of my favorite turns.
And that's also a great turn.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually
no one chooses to lose a championship match. He chose to lose a championship match
to become champion. It's I think cool. Like cool. I love that turn just because it's like I go back to it. Actually, ironically, this couple of days ago, I actually went back and watched that one because it's still one of my favorites. And also the way that what was it, Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole were like, their faces were like, oh my god, there's like it's like these facial expressions. Oh yeah, I mean it's I mean I love that turn as well. But yeah, I mean you could sit there and say as the implications of it and how the idea that it's still a thing now. Yeah, I would say it is the most memorable term.
Everything you just said is accurate. I think the reason why the Kevin Owens one, though, will stay atop that mountain of NXT backstabs and heel turns is the brutality of it all. It didn't come from a punch. It came from I'm going to put my arm around you. Then I'm going to take my hand to your throat and throw you onto the steel walkway. Right? And Sami Zayn sells that bump beautifully. Right? After the hellacious match, the highly athletic contest, it was obviously no one's going to say Sami Zayn versus Neville was a fight, but that's a wrestling match. They were physical and everything was on point. But it doesn't end with just dropping my best friend's head onto the steel rampway. No, I'm going to try and take your body and drop your spine onto what we all know is the hardest part of the ring. You know, I'm trying to put you in a wheelchair.
Or possibly end his career.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, thankfully, they've continued that narrative throughout KO's WWE tenure. He's the guy who's trying to put you on disability. That is who Kevin Owens is.
And what's even interesting now is that when obviously it's ironic, maybe if we'd done this just a couple of weeks earlier, we could have done it when they had a rematch, when they had their latest feud. And it's a situation that to take him out again, they hit him with that power bomb onto not once, not twice. I think it was like 3 times. So Sami hasn't learned that
He'll never learn.
And Kevin Owens is always going to do that to you. So,
but you know what? We at least have to say that Sami has played his own role in hurting Kevin. We can't. Everyone forgets there's a WrestleMania match between the two of them buried inside of WrestleMania 37, right? Because we're all trying to forget COVID and restrictions of going outside and living life. We forget they had a match. That also involved Logan Paul being Sami's buddy, right? You see, I'm telling you, we forget that. And we forget that Sami Haluva kicked the daylights out of Kevin inside War Games and gave Jey Uso that pinfall. We forget these moments because Kevin Owens is such a brutal son of a bitch. We forget all of Sami's transgressions because it pales in comparison to what Kevin did.
And the idea that you can sit there and say if Kevin Owens gets turned on, with Sami you always feel sorry for him, but when Kevin Owens gets turned on, it's like, well, to be fair, Kevin, you kind of deserve it because you kind of are a dastardly, or as JR would say, SOB.
He's a prick. And listen, I fully expect after their Elimination Chamber match that just transpired, the next match, Sami's getting revenge. I expect Kevin Owens to be thrown off the top of the building.
Or at least off top of that stage.
And Kevin will take that bump. We know Kevin will eat that bump. He's fallen off of something. Just how high is what we're going to put our betting money on.
I mean, if you've watched any of their ladder war matches back in the day, some of the bumps they did, so they were capable.
My back hurts thinking about those matches.
I think a couple of years ago I watched their matches for the first time and I was like, what are you doing? But also, this is really awesome. But
it's awesome in the moment, and then when we see Kevin walking around the way Mick Foley walks around today, I'm going to be like, Oh, better you than me, buddy. Better you than me.
But yeah, so that's how it ended. And yeah, this is this is the review of NXT Takeover, our Revolution. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I guess we'll finish off with the. What's your overall thoughts? Like, is it still? Obviously we talked about it briefly at the start, but overall, does it hold up?
On the NXT scale, this is better than great. Because we just talked about it gives you one of the most memorable, if not the most memorable heel turn in NXT history. It gives you one of the most memorable, if not the best worked NXT championship match. It gives you, again, let's say the first chapter of Charlotte versus Sasha, and it gives you the introduction of the Demon. So, like, what more are we asking for without the introduction of War Games into NXT and heel turns here? Like, for something, this is Takeover number 5, and it has such a lasting impact. So it's better than great.
So if you put it from the scale, I think it was either great, good, okay, bear what you're in the bin. Would you put it in the great section, or would you put it?
Yeah, I'm exceeding great here. By my NXT standards, look, I have to judge it on what they were working with. I'm not going to compare it to like any of the NXT Takeover Brooklyns or any of those. I'm going to like, this is their 5th Takeover entry, and it's one of their best Takeover entries. So it gets that added boost of it had no business being this good, and it was. So it's great.
I mean, the idea that basically like it's there now, and we know it's like. I mean, it's always been with the takeovers. Obviously, we'll find out. Obviously, when we talk more about the other ones in the future, it's like the idea that I said before. It's like it's very hard to find a like they're either good or great or even bigger than great. Because obviously, yeah, I think this one obviously goes on the top proof for the fact obviously you got one of the greatest turns. The main event was incredible. Obviously the stuff with obviously said like Charlotte and Sasha Banks. The other that's 12 minutes and how good that match was. Obviously the Finn debuting, Kevin Owens debuting, and then yeah, it had everything. And I got to be honest, a good show. And the idea that they packed it into a show that's what 2.5 hours, something like that.
Less. It was less.
But
I think they did 2 hours.
The idea that you could put a show that condensed that much stuff into 2 hours, and it worked, just shows that
makes you wonder why they don't do it on Raw.
I don't know. It's so ironic, isn't it? Because for years we were saying we didn't want 3 hours of Raw, and now we don't really get it. And now it's 2 hours, and everyone wants it back to 3. It's amazing how wrestling fans change in that. But
I always say quality over quantity. This card had quality, and so I left happy.
And what's beautiful thing about it is they learnt this, and then that's basically the formula. But yeah, I think sometimes I need to watch these pay-per-views like this just not like I don't like the gentle reminder, but just need to remember like anyone that ever says wrestling is like, it's just, you know, what they say about pro wrestling. It's like, yeah, what's this show? What's the main event? What's the ending? That's why it's amazing. This show proves it.
Look, my argument is everyone's looking for anyone searching for entertainment. You could be entertained in a lot of different ways. The one thing people cannot tell me that pro wrestling isn't is that it's not capable of being captivating. Pro wrestling is absolutely capable of captivating people. And as long as you are able to lure the audience in on the conflict, and this event ends with the biggest conflict cliffhanger, then this is why wrestling is beautiful, because when the conflict hits and you want to believe in the illusion, It's perfect.
No form of entertainment even touches the sides. When wrestling done right,
Agreed.
it's one of the best forms of entertainment out there, and
Mm-hmm.
it's the reason why I still watch it today, and there's a reason you still watch it today, because it's still.
Oh yeah.
It's
Listen, nobody. Sorry, I was gonna say nobody goes to an Avengers movie expecting, Hawkeye to screw over Iron Man in a fight, right? The roles are defined. There's very little wiggle room for betrayal here.
I mean, to be fair, if that did happen, that would be that would be quite awesome. But I see what you mean.
No, look, there's no chance in hell Hawkeye's gonna look at Iron Man and go, "I want Thanos to kill you." It's not gonna happen. Whereas Kevin Owens just proved, hey, everyone knows we love each other. Now eat the floor. Like, come on. Pro wrestling will give you that.
It's just I don't know. It's just I think it's
wonderfully Shakespearean.
And as much as I love the in-ring action, nothing what always draws me to wrestling is obviously the drama and the storylines that build up to them stuff in the match. It's the main reason. But yeah, this is definitely. It's one of those pay-per-views that you could. It literally is to a person who wants to get into pro wrestling. Show this person this pay-per-view, and they will. I will be shocked if they don't or instantly fall in love in pro wrestling after watching the show. I will be shocked.
Especially because the show builds. So I like that you pointed that out, because you're like, oh, this Kevin Owens guy just destroyed that nature-loving guy. And it just builds, and then you get them to the end, and they're like, "Oh my God, what did I just witness?
What did you just do?" But yeah, what did you just do, Kevin?
What did you do? Then to see William Regal's eyes bug out of his head. Poor Willie.
The guy. It was just beautiful, so good. But yeah, so yes, I said this podcast, this review, obviously. Yes, obviously, thank you for joining once again. It's been a pleasure, as always, talking about wrestling with you.
Hell yeah.
I feel this is gonna. Let's be honest. This is probably gonna turn into a thing because it's like
it should be.
I think you hear it first. It seems like a thing. If we could do it, we should make this be a thing where we together we just review all the takeovers. Because
this is more slowly how the Mega Powers started shaking each other's hands. It just slowly happened.
But yeah, So we've got to make this a thing, because obviously I felt enjoyed chatting about wrestling to you in this episode, mate. And the beautiful thing is, obviously, was it next takeover we talk about is was it Rivals, if I remember correctly, and obviously as we're talking about Kevin Owens and SAMI ZAYN, we get that match is going to be on the card, and obviously many other awesome matches. So yeah, can't wait to talk about that. Hopefully you join me for that one. And yes, so I've been Jovan, and yeah, and I'll be back for soon. So bye everyone. Bye.